And you know how it goes. I don't need to explain it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
Just hears thunder.
Some heard God, some heard thunder. Okay, guys. It says I'm live, so I hope that's actually the case. And welcome to another live show. As you probably read, I have John Smith here again tonight. Say hi, John.
Hi, John.
I appreciate it when he does exactly what I tell him to do, because that means he's... Oh, I didn't want that one on. We're not in the light today, guys. Well, we have light, but it didn't look like it to you because I didn't turn them on. But the reason is I don't really feel like being on camera. I've been working in my yard too much, and I'm sure I look wonderful, but I'm not going to do it. So, Thunder can hear me. Yeah. And I'm sure it started recording my voice. So... Real quick, guys, this raffle only has one single itty-bitty spot left. Anyone who wants number 9, please come and grab it. I don't think anyone else asked for number 9, so at least not in the chat or not in the comments. So go to my PayPal or my Cash App. Make sure you tell me if you can hear me, because if you can't, then we got problems, but I bet you can. So go to the PayPal, throw down $12, and you've got a chance to win an MS-70 Silver Eagle with the Montana label in there with the grizzly bear, because that's awesome. You're only going to get it from my company that I know of, unless it says secondhand buy. And if you win that, you get a spot on a gold satellite. Guys, I only have 3 spots, I think 3 spots left on the gold raffle for the half ounce. 1, 2, 3. That means I've only got 3 spots left, and we're going to raffle for a half ounce, and you can get a spot with your $10 for a $100 spot. You could have a $100 spot for $10 if you win that raffle. So the only way you're going to win is if you play. Bet you've never heard that before, have you, John?
Oh, no.
I just made it up. Audio is great. And you know what? We're only on like a 10-second delay tonight, guys, not 1,200 seconds. So anyway, you guys, if you don't know John, he's been on this show before, so you need to go watch previous live stuff, because he's really extra smarter than me. But I'm younger, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get that part.
I'm 52.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, you're younger.
I am. Turns out by 20 years. Just kidding. 12 years. So we were talking because you guys probably all heard that all this crazy other stuff is going on. We're not going to talk about the other stuff that's going on, but we are going to talk about the flags being half-mast and the secret, white supremacy deal that Trump is obviously messaging out. And now when I think about it, I go, okay, well, yeah, there's a lot of symbolism and numbers and things with the cabal and stuff, but I think that more likely if he's sending a message, it's either against white supremacy or whatever, nationalists, or it has nothing to do with that at all. But John, what do you think about this whole 8/8 flags being half-mast until then?
Well, you can view it many different ways, but the whole 8/8 date, the only significance I've ever seen with the 8/8 date was 50 years ago on today. A famous event happened that rocked Los Angeles and rocked the country. 50 years ago, the Tate LaBianca murders happened by Tex Watson and a bunch of the girls that used to follow Charles Manson.
There it is. Tex Watson, Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Charlie Manson.
Because he wasn't with them. He was still back at Spawn Ranch.
Okay, he wasn't actually there.
No, he was not actually there. He was back at Spawn Ranch.
So this is one of those things where a lot of people, I haven't gone down this rabbit hole, John, but that's why. So what I throw out there stuff I have no idea on this one. But when you think about a lot of the serial killers,
right?
There is, and mass murderers, there seems to be some kind of mind control component to this. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would, to an extent. I have noticed a pattern in recent shootings and stuff over the years. A lot of them are connected to psychotropic drugs.
Right, and especially, I think, antidepressants.
Yes.
Now. Not back then.
I have also done some research about the El Paso shooting at the Walmart there.
Okay.
I think I sent you the information.
Yeah, and I posted that on Instagram with the satanic holidays.
Yes, it was a satanic holiday, and if you ever study ley lines, there's a major ley line that goes right through El Paso.
Right. That's right.
Which means that when murders happen, a lot of negative emotions get put out, and it goes into the ley line, and that energy just goes shooting out to other locations.
So this is what John sent me, right?
Yes, and it happened August 3rd. Now, Satanic Revels is a sexual holiday from what a friend of mine on Facebook said, and it's a sexual holiday with women between the ages of 7 and 17.
Yuck.
Yeah.
And how many people? 22 people were killed, supposedly, allegedly?
Last time I heard was 20, and that was the night of August 3rd. And then just before I went to bed, I heard about another killing that happened in
Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio.
Mm-hmm. And I've looked into that one myself because I found the kid's obituary.
Yes, that was a weird one.
And the fact that they're trying to say he's a Satanist. And I guess I don't have the one picture where it says his sister. He's survived by his sister, who is also now. Okay, so he was survived by his sister in 2014 when he died, right?
Right.
And I have that picture, but I can't pull it up. I can pull it up for everybody, but I will in a second.
Right.
He was survived by his sister Megan in 2014 when he died. And then he killed her in 2019. That's weird, right?
Right.
How did he do that? Do you think he went like underground? And
I'm thinking either his death was faked, which is a very good possibility. Can't prove it though.
Come on.
Or they got one heck of a coincidence.
Okay,
But what's weird is that
the fact that they use the same sister names.
Exactly. The same brother and sister names, same location, basically. And after his obituary has been exposed after the murders, all of a sudden it was taken down.
Yep, it was taken down after that.
Sounds like they got caught in the lie and they tried to take it down to cover it up.
Do you think that they wanted us to find it? Because now that we're on this FBI terrorist list, could they be trying to point someone out like me as a potential terrorist and to be watched now because I'm talking about it and I've seen it and I'm showing it? Do you think they left it up for a little while because of that?
I don't know, because I don't know how long it's been up there.
It was only up until I reported this on Sunday.
Right.
And it was gone on Monday.
Right.
And the shooting was Saturday, I think.
The shooting was Saturday. It was up on Sunday. You reported it Monday, and it was gone.
It's gone Monday. No, I reported it Sunday. It was gone Monday.
Okay.
And thank you, Jay Killer. You are awesome. I appreciate that. But before, when I looked it up, now and I've said this to people. I know I said we weren't going to talk about this, guys, but we're just going to talk about it for a second.
Right.
Because John hasn't talked about it with me, and so we're discussing it, and this is what we do. When I look things up, John, I look for middle names.
Right, yeah.
I always look for middle names. Yeah, I always look for a letter. Because when you go find a birth certificate or death certificate or anything that's public, if you can find it, it's going to have the middle names of those people.
You were mentioning that last night.
Okay, yeah, right, on the show. Right. Okay, so you heard me say that. Right. Well, there were no middle initials that I could find on either of them.
Right.
But now they've got middle initials for them, and they're different.
The middle initials are different than the actual people's middle initials?
Than each other, right? No, okay. So somebody wanted to tell me, oh, Aaron, you don't know what you're talking about, you idiot, right? Because obviously I don't research anything. Yeah. But they said, it's not the same person because the middle initials are wrong. And I said, oh, duh, of course, right? Like, how did I not know? You know, of course, I looked for the middle initials. But I didn't see any middle initials for either of these people when I was first... This is, okay, Connor D. Betts, yes, but there was no middle initial for the other guy until after this was being talked about. Yeah, so now it's Connor S. Betts is the other guy, but it wasn't there. I looked for it. And so I'm not saying I'm not saying
That's-
anything special about me. I'm saying I did look for the middle initial for the new guy.
That's a good reason to screenshot everything
That's-
you do research in.
Yeah, that's
Because then you can compare both of them
And
show over time how it's being changed.
right, which I did do. However, I usually don't cover these things, and
Right.
so I didn't. I tried to pass on the information, which I mentioned last night, my little butthurt moment. But it got shared finally, and so whatever. But there is no middle initial on this article.
Right.
It's not there. So it wasn't there before. It might be there somewhere now. So it's anyway. That's
What you could do is you could wait. I forget how long, but if you can research the Social Security Death Index, what you can do is you can research the Social Security Death Index, which is public record. Anybody can do it. Look up this guy. Find out what his middle initial was. Find out what his middle name was. You can get his birth date. You can get his death date. You can get his Social Security number because he's obviously not going to use it anymore. You know?
You can do that?
You can do that. I've
thought
done
you had
that
to
for
be next-
genealogical research many times.
Okay.
That's actually how I found out that my mother died before I even knew it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's something to consider if I want to get more into this. And if you guys want, if you're feeling bad for this family, because by the way, it's possibly causing a family a lot of hurt that is not even associated with this situation at all. It's possible.
Yeah.
And there is a GoFundMe, and I'm not saying go put money in the GoFundMe. It's an old GoFundMe. It's 2015. But it does have a video, a 14-minute video of a bunch of pictures of this kid that I did go through. And the more recent ones definitely look like him. But I can't. Here's the thing is, I said last night, all it does is raise more questions. It doesn't prove anything. It doesn't do anything but raise more questions that I don't have answers to.
I've even heard that he, during the shooting, was wearing a bulletproof vest. And,
Well,
like it was a training exercise.
cargo pants, apparently. Yeah, and
No,
the orange.
that's a different one.
Oh, that was the other El Paso kid? Okay.
The guy in the El Paso one is very interesting because if you look at the video of him coming through the Walmart door, he's wearing cargo pants. If you
Right.
look at the video of him or the picture of him being arrested, he's wearing
He's not.
khakis.
Correct.
Two
Well,
different pair of pants.
we could do this so long, but
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go back to Manson because I mentioned that the reason we got on this, guys, is because I call it trauma-based mind control.
Right.
That's MK Ultra is a pretty old term.
Yep.
If we have the information about it, it's been what do you call it, retired, and they've got something better, right?
Yeah.
So-
Now they have EMK Ultra,
Okay, what's that mean?
electronic mind control.
And that works for the phones,
It can work through radio waves,
airwaves.
airwaves, cell phones.
So there's what is it? A brain implant?
It could be brain implants. I have a funny feeling that the aluminum and the chemtrails might have to do with it.
Okay, and I've said that. Now, I made a video, and you guys should know this because it's a good one. It's called The AI That Fell from the Sky, and it talks about things like Morgellons. Oh, there it is right there. It talks about Morgellons. It talks about, I didn't know the Lyme disease connection at the time,
Right.
but I had read this book a long time ago on prey and the swarm technology, and it got me thinking about AI, and I got Harold Krauts-Vella on here.
Krauts-Vella,
There he
yeah.
is, right there.
Yeah.
And they got me into the black goo information, which I have a new video coming out. I'll have it out by Sunday, guys. I'm not going to have it out tomorrow. I've been doing too much work on my yard, and it's been fun, and I've been going nuts on it. So I will have it out Sunday. The script is done. I've been able to read it to somebody, and it sounds like it's a good script. It's going to be a lot more. I really believe that the black goo is actually the black gold. And I'm gonna go into what that means.
I think the black goo is a form of artificial intelligence.
It is.
On a micro.
Oh yeah, smaller
Scale?
than nanobots.
Yeah. And I remember him saying something about that.
So the black gold is something I'm gonna explain. It's the same stuff, but gold is involved. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
Okay.
I don't want to give too much away.
Speaking of gold, there is a lot of information out there on monoatomic gold. Have you ever heard of monoatomic gold?
Do explain.
Monoatomic gold is basically when you take gold and you break it down to its monoatomic elements, mono meaning one, and there is a few videos out there of a guy in Arizona who is mining gold, and he, I don't remember his name. I can put the links to the video in the in the comment section of this video.
And which he will do, guys. You need to go back. If you want any links, go back after a day or two. John will post all of them.
What it is it has a lot, it has anti-gravitational properties.
Which is something else we're going to talk about in a minute. Levitation, at least.
Levitation. But when you add heat to the monoatomic gold, it has anti-gravitational properties. And the Ark of the Covenant had monoatomic gold in it. That's why when you read about it moving on its own, it did. It was just those guys were guiding it more or less than carrying it.
So that has to do with the levitation thing?
It had to do with the levitation of the monoatomic gold.
Of the actual Ark of the
Ark of the Covenant, right? And there's some videos there that I will link in the.
Yes, please do. That sounds like fun. Oh yes,
that's very interesting.
Okay.
And when they talk about manna from heaven, that's it.
Oh.
Yeah, it all ties in and stuff, yes.
Okay. Well, I'm interested in that because, I love gold and silver too. Yeah. And we're going to be talking, I'm going to be mentioning a lot of that as well as lead and copper in my video. Not much copper, but, you think about, speaking of copper, we're really good at this because I think, we both have really lightning quick brains. It doesn't mean we're smart necessarily, but we just think too much. But speaking of copper, the Rh negative copper blood, are you familiar with that?
I've heard of Rh negative blood, but I haven't heard the copper aspect to it.
There's apparently, iron carries our oxygen, but there's a copper blood too, apparently.
Okay.
That is Rh negative. I don't have proof of this. I don't have anybody's blood in a jar somewhere, right, that I can show you this, or any of you. But I did a video on that too. But real quick on the AI, that one, we'll go, because because I've had such a long history of having a crazy brain that goes all sorts of places. I remember what we were originally talking about. This is Morgellons.
Right. It's like a string.
It's a fiber. It's polymers, right?
Plastic.
Yeah. And so you can see these, and people will start having them grow out of their skin. Super crummy side effects of the nanotechnology that we breathe in. And we don't all get it. But Lyme disease is a weaponized tick.
It's a bioweapon.
And Congress has now asked the Pentagon to release information about that. It comes from Grassley and Graham have asked the Pentagon to release information on the weaponized tick. So this isn't just conspiracy talk anymore, guys. That was a real letter I read, and we could find it. I'm not going to, because you guys can do some stuff on your own.
Back in the 70s, I remember reading the AIDS document where doctors asked Congress for, I think, $10,000 to do research on a disease that would, on a vaccine that would be like a biowarfare on something. And then all of a sudden they had the hepatitis B vaccine trials, the smallpox vaccine trials, and a lot of people in the inner cities came down with the HIV virus.
Right. And what about syphilis? Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't.
So syphilis was given to people same way, and the Tuskegee incident is the most well-known, where Africans were given syphilis on purpose. Right. And it is related, it's a spirochete related to Lyme, related to Morgellons.
Oh, okay.
So what I believe is they're perfecting something, right? But guess what? What is it about this that means it can't be the beast? When they go to signal you and do stuff, it probably works on some people. Maybe it does, right? Maybe it does these little signals, and they got little satellites. This is an artist depiction, obviously. But this is what I imagine, something that could be small enough to do something like that. Well, if it's the beast, it's not the beast. But if they were trying to bring the beast with this system, it was never going to work. You know why?
Why?
Because I didn't say I would take this. I didn't accept this.
Right.
I didn't say, yes, I'll have that. Thank you very much. Yeah. No, they threw it out of airplanes and forced it onto our food and made us breathe it and eat it.
We're just subjects of an experiment.
So back to these guys. is not nanotechnology, is it?
No.
Not back in the 70s, probably.
Not that we know of.
Not that we know of. And we can't find it. I haven't found anything dating that long ago that would have nanotechnology in my research.
No.
So what
But
could...
if you do look at the old movies, like the old Western movies and stuff.
Or even the sci-fi movies.
Yep.
Brain Eaters is from the 50s.
You might be able to see chemtrails back then, too.
They're putting them...
60s
Don't you think they're putting them in the videos now to make it look normal?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They're even doing it in the video games.
Yeah. So
Like
that we all think it looks...
If you watch, go to YouTube and watch GTA 5 videos, you'll see in the sky in the background the chemtrails.
Oh, yeah. Like, that's just normal.
Yeah, that's a video game, yeah.
I look up and I get frustrated. Well, okay, so if you're not using nanotechnology and they're not using trauma, what were these guys probably doing? What were they? They were on LSD probably, right?
Yeah, they're on LSD.
So how...
Thanks to Timothy Leary.
This is a legitimate question because I don't really know. How do you control how does LSD become a way to control somebody?
You get them addicted to it. And when they're under the influence, you just...
They're probably really amenable, right? They could get them to do whatever. And they're hallucinating and they don't know they don't know reality at that point.
Right.
So obviously it has some kind of... I mean, I could guess.
It's like Plato's Cave, but on a magnified scale.
So, but some of these people still have... They still have alliance to this. You know, these women, I don't think they ever went back on anything that they did.
There is one person, I forget who it was, but she's out. She's living in New Hampshire. If you look up Manson family, where are they now? There's one woman living in New Hampshire. I forget who it was. I know she's got to be in her 60s. She has grayish hair.
Yeah,
gray hair.
She probably does have gray hair.
I forget.
CNN.
Patricia Krenwinkel. She's the one who is living in New Hampshire. Patricia Krenwinkel, I think.
All right.
There's also another one who... That's Tex Watson right there.
Yeah.
No, that's what he looks like now. There's also another one who is... Squeaky Fromm, yeah. Lynette Fromm. She was actually one of his followers, and she got in trouble once. She got out of jail. Then she tried to shoot President Ford. She went in jail for that, and I think she's out now from that.
Yeah, this is a lot of old stuff. But anyway, okay, so why do you think some of these people would still be on board to this day with what they did? Or are they not? Am I wrong? Oh, he was tiny.
Yeah, he's the same size as me. He's only 5'4". He's only 5'4". But size really has nothing to do with how much you can influence somebody. When the police arrested him at Spawn Ranch, they found him underneath the sink cabinet.
Oh boy! So he's hiding in a cabinet.
The sink in the cabinet.
Right.
Yeah, he's only 5'4", weighed about 110 pounds.
Okay, so he's tiny dude.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. I don't have any research on this. I don't have a lot more to say about that. So we were talking earlier about levitation, the gold stuff.
Monatomic gold.
Mm-hmm. And the last time we had a show, guys, we talked about Eric Dollard. I am not going to play this because it's a lot of information in a brain so big and vast I can't comprehend. I can comprehend the gist of what he's saying, but he gets into details.
Yeah,
he is a
fully
guy.
Absorb what he's saying, it requires a lot of research.
This one is pretty normal. They're just kind of talking harmonics and electricity. They're talking different frequencies, and that's something I talked about with. Did you watch the one I did with Abnormie? And we were talking about musical frequencies. That'd have been last week sometime. No, we did it Friday.
Friday? No, I didn't watch that. I'm going to watch it.
So, yeah, last Friday, I did that one. We talked musical frequencies. And so this kind of applies again to that. It will also apply. Here it is, 5 days ago. It will also apply to my video that's coming out, because airwaves are very important in what is in the airwaves, and any kind of control that they may or may not be able to do with the airwaves, whether it's through the water in our bodies or micro programmable matter that I have not accepted willingly. and you have not accepted willingly
Right.
that we know of, but we've got to keep an eye out.
Well, our bodies are mostly made up of water, and water does have memory.
Okay.
And there was a Japanese doctor who proved that. And what he proved is that if you take a container of water and project thoughtful hates to it, the water will become gunky and, like garbage. But if you project love and positive thoughts, it'll become crystal clear. Now, if we take that concept, put it in our lives, and if we're negative to everybody, what are we doing to them on a physical level? Because their bodies are mostly water,
Right. I should change my name to Digger Aaron, like Digger Dan, because
digging for information.
his name is Digger Dan, and he says I have good deep digs. Well, we bring this up because we want to show a video that I'm going to skip some of the boring stuff, but I mean, the guy walks in and he's like, "Hey guys, I'm so and so," and then we're gonna you guys are gonna watch this with us real quickly about levitation, and then we're gonna
sound can levitate.
Sound waves.
Yep.
Anytime I see an oscilloscope, I get excited. So am I going to hear it on the camera?
So the main frequency we're using again is 22 kilohertz, which is higher than human hearing. But you'll be hearing the subharmonic around 17, 18 kilohertz.
But I can just put a low-pass filter on the audio, and
I'm guessing that you cut it out, yeah.
Okay.
Turn it up, and on the oscilloscope, you'll see the two waves from each of the two horns.
Well, let's think and levitate something, dude.
Yeah.
So that's just a styrofoam ball.
Styrofoam ball, and the spoon has all those slots in it, so the sound passes right through it.
No
And
way.
then I can just...
And by sound, you mean pressure.
Yeah, the sound waves, which are pressure waves. But you can see the wavelength spacing basically between these.
That's stinking awesome. You may have seen sound drawn like this, but it's a bit too simplified. A real sound wave actually looks like this. The bright parts are the higher pressure and the darker parts are the low pressure. These ripples move along at the speed of sound. When you have two identical sound waves and you line them up just right, they no longer act like waves moving across the room. If you have a wave coming from this side and another wave coming from the other side, they become what's called a standing wave. You get a spot right here where there's a pressure flipping on and off, and a spot right here where the pressure isn't changing at all. There's no oscillation. If you flip this thing upright and then you put something tiny right inside that little pocket, you can use that air pressure to bump something up against the force of gravity. So it ends up looking like this ping pong paddle. The particle wants to drop, but it keeps getting knocked back up by the high pressure wave below it. And that is acoustic levitation. So if it works with foam, it should work with water, right? Anthony uses a syringe to balance little drops of water on top of that oscillating wave. Just like the ping pong ball, you can see it bouncing up and down. Look at the one on the bottom, bouncing up and down trying to find its spot. Another cool thing is the fact that if I make the water drops too big, they always seem to explode. Why would it do that? It happens just a little too fast to see with the naked eye. I flew home wishing I had some way of bringing together the acoustic levitation machine and a high-speed camera. 10 months went by. I had no way of doing this, but then I got a call from Ford. They wanted to know if I could do any sound experiments on American Idol out in Hollywood. We have 2 hours with the most amazing setup I've ever worked with. An ultrasonic levitation device and two really fast. You know how this works now, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to the sound against each other and we'll make a... Yeah. That's right, that's right. Did he get it right? Is determined by 2 times the surface tension is the same as changing the pressure, right? So once we do that, the pressure gets so great that the surface tension can't hold the drop together anymore, and then it just ruptures. It overcomes that internal pressure, and you get an explosion.
All right, I think we get it right. I mean, that's everything.
This kind of reminds me of cymatics.
Okay, what's that?
Cymatics is where they take a speaker, put a plate on top of the speaker, put sound through it, and
Yeah, how do you spell that?
cymatics.
Yeah, I've seen that, but I like
Yes.
want to. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Let's look that up.
The higher the frequency, it forms a pattern.
Right, and I've seen it with water. They do it with
Yep.
water.
They do it with salt.
Let's look at the water one. Oh, which one were you gonna say?
I was gonna say the salt one because
This one's pretty cool. This is where they hit This is where they hit that
that's
drum.
with the music and stuff.
They hit the drum and it does that.
Yeah.
But okay,
But with the
I'll pick the salt one.
the salt?
We can always pick a different
Yeah.
one there. I'm gonna turn that off quiet while it plays. Go ahead and talk because it's just gonna
with
go.
the salt, the higher the frequency, the more complex the design. So basically, this is how you can see sound.
Okay, so if it's doing that to salt, which guess what? We also have sodium in our bodies, right?
Yep.
But we have water in our bodies.
Right.
We'll show this one like for a little bit. It's it's
So when we
interesting.
get hit with 5G,
Yeah, there's no protection, which
Right.
was, those Oregon pyramids or whatever you were talking about last time, right?
yep,
Which could be a protection. Could it be a protection if you just buy it for your own home,
it could be, yeah.
even from 5G?
Yeah, it could clean up the frequency from dirty frequencies to cleaner frequencies.
I like how it made like a skull picture on the triangle.
Yeah.
Okay, weirdos. Okay, don't talk. Just show us this. Just show us the goods. Stop talking.
Yeah.
We're not listening to you. We don't care what you're saying. I've seen better videos of this, but this is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows some stuff. I think the water one is crazy. I
Right,
think I
yeah.
might have shown the water one last time.
Yeah. Like the one up top, that's with oil, I think. But the guy who discovered this is called Hans Jenny.
That's trip.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Isn't
Yep.
that the oil
Yep.
right there?
Yep.
Is that oil or water?
I think that's oil.
Hard to tell because it's in a black thing. Okay, well, that was great. Thanks, guys. Let's see what this one's got to show. This is the drum one. Okay, I think I either showed this one or I talked about it. But it's crazy to watch. Look at that. I can't believe it does that to water.
Yep.
Now, it must not be quite doing... I mean, or if it is doing that in our bodies, it's not that bad
Extreme.
for us or something. Yeah, because, I mean... there sounds like drums that were natural before we created them.
And
Well,
he
we wouldn't have
explains
created
in
them.
this video how it circles like that.
Okay. That's so cool, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very interesting to watch. And yeah, and okay, I mean, we've talked about this guy again. It's the same guys. Look at these guys. They're the same all the time. Anyway, we've talked about the different hertz levels, right? Isn't it like 440? I mean, Abnormie was on here. We talked about it. Is it 440 that's supposed to be the where we're supposed to be? Or is it...
Well,
Or 432 the true one?
they say a lot of people think 432 is the true one and 440 is a distorted one, but I found a video that explains that back in the time of Pythagoras and all that stuff, they
Pythagoras-
didn't have any way of measuring the hertz.
So like the Pythagorean music scale, right?
Right, exactly. They didn't have any way of actually accurately measuring how many hertz music was played at.
And I'm sure these are just people playing at something in that kind of Pythagorean tuning. It is totally researchable stuff. This person's saying 432, but maybe it just turns out that 432 is the hertz that the Pythagorean scale comes to, or do you? What do you know about that, or do you?
I really don't know enough about it, but what I'd probably take a safe guesstimate at is that it probably does come to 432, even though we play most of the music at 440. I have a guitar tuner on my phone, and I can tune my guitar at 440, or I could even turn it at 432. I could tune it anywhere in between, or,
Right. Well, so in all of this discussion of these things, it brought us to talking about this. And I don't remember why. Oh, you were saying, it turns out that this Kaaba, right, this is a big deal, right? This is a Muslim
That's a Muslim holy place.
holy place. It is not Islam, because Islam is not a religion, whether they say that or not.
Yep.
And this is called the Kaaba.
Right.
And I didn't remember that, but thank God for John.
In that DVD I gave you upstairs, there's also a video of it on my YouTube channel. Is the guy says we got a Kaaba, which is a cube, which is, and they circle around this, whole hordes of people circle around it 7 times, because in the Bible, 7 is a sacred number. And that's for Islam.
Right.
For Judaism, they have the Kabbalah.
Yeah, right.
Kabbalah, the cube of Allah.
Well, and I'm just saying in my video how Israel might have come from Isis, Ra, and El.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, if you take that cube and you lay it out in a flat plane, what would it come to?
And a hexagon.
No.
Oh, a star. A 6-pointed star.
No.
I don't know. Give me the answer.
You take the top, you lay it down. You take the other ones, you lay those down. You take one side, lay it over. You take the other side, lay it over. It's a cross.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So now you see the connection between
why they're balling it all up.
There's more commonalities in those 3 than most people think there are.
But now, while there's commonalities, there's not.
But I'd like to know, why did they pick a cube?
Oh,
Why?
I know why.
There's so many other shapes out there. Why a cube?
Because that's the cube of Saturn.
Right.
Which I'll talk about in my video. But
Okay.
this is supposed to face east, right?
I don't know if there is a facing to it.
Oh. So why were you talking about the one in Petra and which way it faces?
Because what it is that this cube here is not the original location of where they used to face when they prayed. Because
so they're supposed to be facing the cube.
They're supposed to be facing the cube. Because supposedly, according to Islamic doctrine, this is a location where Muhammad received revelation from God to write the Quran.
Okay.
Now, there is information coming out that this is not the actual location. The actual location was in Petra, not here.
Yeah, right. So they're looking
And
in the wrong
I will
direction.
put a link to that documentary on
the
comments section. It's very, very interesting because the original mosques that were designed where they prayed toward the prayer wall, and that prayer wall faces Petra. It doesn't face Mecca. Then after some big infighting within the Islamic world, the location was changed.
Okay, so how big of a deal is that if they're praying to the wrong direction, I wonder, to them? I wonder what that would mean for them.
Worshipping false gods, worshipping false idols, I don't know.
Well, they're already doing that anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like having a saint for every day of the year.
Yeah. Well,
and having a saint for every day of the year when God said, "I'm the way, the truth," or Jesus said, "I'm the way, the truth, and life. The way to the Father is through me."
you know, going back to that satanic calendar,
Yeah.
did you notice that there was a marriage to the beast day on
Yes,
September
I
7th?
did.
What on earth is the marriage
Now,
to the beast?
What that calendar that I sent you is just a Reader's Digest version. I have a more complete version at home that a friend of mine sent me, and I can send it to you.
Yeah, I need that.
There's also a guy I know that his name is Jay Martin, I think.
Okay.
Anyways, he is from an Illuminati family in Pennsylvania or Maryland or something like that. And if you go to my channel,
Okay, hold on.
my YouTube channel, you will be able to see.
I gotta find you.
Okay. It's
And then click on
youtube.com,
you.
KD7ONE.
Oh yeah, what is it?
KD7, number 7, ONE.
Yeah, that'll be easier.
Now, the reason I came up.
Click videos.
Yep. The reason I came up with this thing about how the it is
This could be in the way too.
That could be in the way. It's
Down.
pedophilia. It's the fourth one, I think. Yeah, fourth one right there. This one here, that guy is from an Illuminati family, and he says that the town he was from, 85% of the people there were Satanists.
What town is he from?
Someplace in Maryland.
Of course. It's got to be like where the witches were.
Yeah, and he says that there's 2 towns, the one that he lived in, and 10 miles away is another town, and there's a major ley line that runs between both towns.
Okay. Is there a ley line through Montana?
Yeah, there is.
Where?
There is.
I could look it up.
It's in the monolithic rocks in the western part of the... You don't know about the monolithic rocks in Montana, do you? Okay, I'll send you that information.
Yeah, do that. Oh, I just spelled amp. I meant
Montana.
map. I meant map, not amp. Okay. Well, anyway, I got you off what you were talking about with this guy over here. Where were we? Yeah. Not that guy.
No.
This guy.
This guy, yeah. This here is Jay Parker. His name is Jay Parker. He's the one who in this interview, he was saying about how a lot of things happen on satanic holidays. And he said, well, watch out for this day because a shooting might happen, stuff like that.
Okay.
Well, when we were dealing with the shooting on August 3rd, this is the video I was thinking of.
Right.
And that's how I got the idea of maybe it's a satanic holiday.
And it is.
And it was.
And there was a couple right around that. I got to go back to that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the Freemasons in a second.
Yep.
I got to go back to that picture because that's nice. I'm sorry to whoever got hurt there. Looks like he got a bullet hole through the leg or something. This guy right here. Nope, not that one. Yeah, it was that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't we just do this?
Yeah.
I'm hitting the wrong button.
All right.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. Okay.
Yep.
You guys, nothing weird is going on. It is
Marriage
me.
to the Beast, September 7th.
Okay, so the August 1st was something too. It was 2 things.
Llama's Day, 7th.
And these 2 shootings happened back to back, like on these.
Yeah. August 1st and August 3rd,
these
yeah.
days. So this is, I guess, there's probably more than that. Like you said, I'd like to see more.
But Satanic Revels just doesn't happen once a year. It happens every 3 or 4 months, I think.
Okay, so that's not a once a year thing.
Right.
You got to have your sex on. It's a sexual thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, they all are in a way.
Yeah.
There's always got to be
energy
sex
transfer. That's all
involved.
it is. It all comes down to energy.
True. Who's that guy?
Yeah. That guy there is the guy who's running the interview. He is
okay.
exposing the pedophile networks and stuff
Okay.
like that in the series of videos that I have on my channel.
Yeah.
Very good videos. It is very mind-numbing when you know how prevalent pedophilia is in our society and how deeply it's saturated within government and all the other institutions of our society. It's just totally mind-numbing.
Oh, it's just weird. I mean, when I first started looking into this, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again, I was like kind of looking at the homosexuality in the gay community and I'm sorry, the homosexuality in the hip hop community.
Right.
And I was like, this is weird. There's a bunch of gay, and I was believing it. And I kept running across some of the stuff with the pedophiles and the deep state and the Hollywood, and I didn't believe the satanic sacrifices yet. I just didn't. I was like, I don't think they're killing babies in basements of churches. That's not. I didn't say that to anybody. I didn't go on anyone's YouTube and go, oh, they're not doing that, right? Like I didn't do that. Yeah. But in my head, I was like, oh, I don't think that's the case. Until I started to come to such a huge amount of pedophilia, I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand when there's such a small percentage of gay, homosexual, pedophile. Right. Like, probably in true reality, not this push, right? Not this gay push, not this trans push. Before any of this push, go back to the 40s or even earlier. I don't know. the percentage of gay people and pedophile. Okay, don't go back to the Greek times. Okay, I'm trying
Yeah, that's.
let's just go back to a time where it just wasn't being allowed. You were going to be strung up outside of the town if you were going to do these things. Okay, let's go back to that time. How many do you think really there were? Now, there were some but probably less than 1%, don't you think?
I really don't know, because nowadays we have the internet, which is, let's just, for the sake of argument, say it's 10%, right? But before the internet, we didn't know about it. Now that we have the internet, it's being exposed more.
Okay. Well, let's say...
And it just appears
let's
to be
say
worse
it's 10%. It's still a huge minority of people.
Right.
So I couldn't understand how this many people were pedophiles when it was my understanding. Now, this could have just been God's push for me, no matter what the percentage is. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, there's just not that big of a percentage of these people who are truly gay or pedophile or anything. How is this so rampant in this community? And I couldn't understand it unless they believed they were getting something out of it. And that's when I was like, okay, I believe the satanic rituals because I found out about adrenochrome and all these things. They said, that's what it is. They're getting something out of it. Right. And did you know that they actually convince each other that the children get some kind of enjoyment out of it too?
Yeah. Yeah, they convinced them about that.
That's something
because
new I just learned.
Because in order for somebody to be subservient to you, you have to convince them, yeah, it's okay. It's just
don't worry,
normal.
It's not painful for them, even though it looks painful.
Yeah, right.
It would be painful for you, but don't worry.
Right. Because whatever. If they didn't convince them that it wasn't, if they didn't convince them it was enjoyable for them, then they wouldn't have the enjoyment, and they'd put up more of a resistance. And a slave is easier to control when he is less resistant.
Mm-hmm. Sick. Let's see about ley lines and... All right, let's get this map. Oh, Billings.
Yeah.
That's not good for us. Great Falls.
Look at Salt Lake.
Oh, my gosh. I don't know if YT Rance is...
But if you look at... If you pull that map up again and you look right where...
Oh, that didn't do what I wanted it to do.
No, the left. Look where El Paso is. You see the ley line going through El Paso?
That right? No, up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a ley line going
There's
right through
two.
Yeah.
Great Falls has got a couple.
Yep.
Where's these things that you were talking about in Montana?
The monoliths.
Monoliths.
They're in like the Helena National Forest, I believe.
So up here somewhere? Yeah. Or down here somewhere?
This video is about it. The Montana monoliths.
Why is this thing so crazy? Look at this one.
Yeah. What I'd like to know is, how do they know these ley lines are there? How can they detect them?
I know. What do they...
You know?
Frequency.
Frequency, energy frequency and stuff. I don't know.
But how old is the knowledge of ley lines?
I think it's very ancient because I've heard a lot of the churches were put on ley lines. There's a lot of pyramids that were put on ley lines.
I was just saying, I don't know if YT Rance is still on here, but
Yeah.
Holy, that's like the Mecca up here somewhere in Canada.
Yep.
I can't find a good map of this.
Also, down, if you see where all these are going, Bermuda Triangle. Yep.
I don't think people really disappear for the reasons they say.
I don't think so either.
Oh, I wonder why you can't get a real good map of this. I mean, because, they don't want you to know, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, this is a lot of good stuff. We're doing pretty good. I can't read the chat very well and talk, so I don't know if, some people have said, oh, here we go. Look at this right there.
Yep. Bingo.
And I'll look at all the stuff that happens in Florida, too.
And there's a big when these ley lines come together, they're called nodes. N-O-D-E-S.
Right.
It's like energy vortex.
Oh, wow. I wonder if we could look up ley line nodes. I'm telling you, I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight and take a lot of ibuprofen.
Oh, yeah.
I hope I never do become imprisoned because I do think that I would have a lot of back pain.
Yeah. There.
Oh, wow.
There.
See, Utah's not the worst place.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be over by Hawaii?
Yeah, I think that's over by Hawaii there. Washington, D.C.
Whoa, what's happening?
Yeah, Washington, D.C. Bingo, right there.
No kidding.
Seattle, they're the high crime area.
Oh, yeah. Good Lord. Yeah, and it's out in the water. You would have to. Okay, so how do they?
I don't know.
Oh, Digger Dan says electromagnetic fields. NASA scientists have mapped them. What's the star?
But one
shape?
thing to do is when you get all these mass shootings, compare the location to the ley lines and look on the map for satanic holidays, and you'll be able to make a connection there, maybe.
Yeah, Dayton, Ohio's. I don't even know where that. Maybe that's right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Give me a blank map. I can't help. That looks like Atlanta, maybe.
No, Atlanta's up here.
That's Florida down here.
Yeah, Florida, and Atlanta's Georgia.
Georgia's straight up from Florida?
Yep.
No kidding. What's that then?
What's
Louisiana. I don't know.
Yeah, that's Louisiana.
Huh. This is very interesting.
Yeah.
I wish I could get a better... this says it's interactive, but I'd have to find the website of whatever this is. Here, let's see. The Fifth Dimension, of course.
Of course, yeah.
The Age of Aquarius. Everybody wants me to sing that. I just know it. Age of Aquarius. Oh, it's just a screenshot.
Oh.
Nephilim.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some Nephilim. Yeah, we already know that's a real thing. If you don't think Nephilim are real, you haven't read Genesis 6. Because they are.
And there's also a guy who lives in Bozeman called Stephen Quayle, and he wrote a book called Genesis 6 Giants.
I have looked at his YouTube.
Yep.
He's got a pretty big following.
Yep.
This may be a good...
He was really big on an AM talk show at night.
Okay. Wizard wants me to look up Star in a Jar, so I'm going to appease...
Okay. Star in a Jar.
I'm going to appease this guy that puts up with my stuff that he disagrees with. But it's okay, because we're all friends, because we can disagree and still be friends in this place.
Yeah.
Okay, I've looked it up. What am I trying to find, Wizard? Let's see. Florida on vacation, leave on... Florida on vacation, leave on probation. Woo! Yeah. Star in a Jar fusion reactor. That sounds like something he's probably talking about.
Works.
That seems like it. Ooh, I like that picture.
Works on what?
Sorry.
Promises infinite energy. Oh,
2016.
free energy.
Yeah, they've been promising us that, well, I don't know, forever.
Yeah. And then when you actually are able to obtain 0 point energy, the DEA comes and kills you.
Or they bulldoze your whole place, like poor Eric Dollard. He's still alive, probably because they find him funny or something. Because the guy is fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
He laughs and he's animated and you can tell he loves what he talks about.
Yeah.
God, he talks so much.
Well, he has a lot of information to share.
Oh, it's great. It is. It's wonderful.
Like I said, I'd love to just hang out with him for a day and just pick his brain.
Well, he's been at there was some conference he was going to be at, and I can't remember who sent me the information. I do remember who. Sadly, this person doesn't talk to me much anymore. But it was a convention that wasn't even that far away. I think it was in Idaho or something, but it was too expensive for me just to even go. But he was going to be there talking. So he's still out talking. He's still, he's not down in a hole or anything like that. But so fusion, I don't know. The thing is they gotta have the carbon tax, and if you have fusion and free energy, they can't charge you the carbon tax, right? So carbon tax is a charging us of using of fossil fuels. It's a tax to use fossil fuels to heat. It's the only thing that we really have. I mean, we have steam heat, we have other things, but really fossil fuels are how we heat most anything, how we run our cars.
Right. I've seen a funny picture. What it was is a electric smart car hooked up to a electronic pump, kind of a fuel pump that you use to recharge the car. But how did that get the electricity? It's hooked up to a diesel generator.
Okay.
Kind of defeats the purpose,
right? Have you seen? There is some videos about a guy that does water for instead of gas.
Yes, Brown's gas.
That guy's hard.
HHO. It's very easy to make an HHO generator.
It is?
Yes.
Will you teach me?
Yes.
I'm teachable.
I will teach you. I'm willing to teach people if they're willing to learn.
I am teachable. I don't know if you just saw this whole backyard that I built, but I'm telling you, man, like that is the first time I've ever done anything like that. And it was fun. I wanted to learn how to do it, and I've learned a lot.
We have
Yeah,
10.
yep.
All
So
right.
so we have filled this. We had filled this raffle, and that means the winner will get a gold satellite spot. I think everybody's clear on that now, but just in case you're not familiar, the satellite is so that you can win a very expensive gold spot and not have to pay the expensive. Yeah. Oh, that was funny.
That was
The socialists convened. I'm going to mention this. The socialists convened, and I don't know how these people are going to survive. Right? They're not. The New World Order will be like they're just going to sweep them into a dustbin and throw them in the garbage because they're so light and wussy. But they're like raising their hands at their little comrade convention, or they don't. And there's like, "Excuse me, guys, I'm Joe, he, him." You know, they've got to give their gender. And could you please keep the racket, keep the chatter down because it's increasing my anxiety and I can't focus. Thanks. Goes on. And then they do this. They wave their hands as jazz hands instead of clapping. No kidding. They wave their hands like jazz hands when instead of clapping because they don't want to forget about the deaf people, the deaf people who can't hear them clap. Right. But apparently they forgot about the blind people, right? Oh. Okay. And so then somebody else raises their hand.
They stomp their feet.
So that's going to increase their anxiety, though. You can't stomp and clap. You can't do that in the chatter too much. So then another guy stands up and he goes, can we refrain from using gender-oriented terms for the group? Because this guy just said, or this, and you could say that because he said, I'm a he, him. He goes, this guy just said, you guys. And that guy was mad at the last guy. And they were all having their undies
a manhole cover is not called a manhole anymore. It's called a person hole. And it may sound derogatory for some people, but I've come up with a new term. You probably heard it before, I don't know. But anyways, you got a guy that does a sex change to a female. I call him shims. She, him.
Yeah, there you go.
I call him
You're
shim. That way, you're covering both sides of the coin.
Yeah, you're both.
And, it's...
Afraid you're both. All right,
but
it's... it's too much for me. So, yes, Useful Idiots is right because they don't know that. What they don't know is if you've ever listened to like G. Edward Griffin or ever read the not the Art of War, the Sun Tzu one.
That's the Art of War. Yes.
Sun Tzu's Art of War or Alinsky. It's all the same stuff. Now, here's the thing.
Saul Alinsky, yes.
It's all the same. That doesn't mean that Saul Alinsky and Sun Tzu are both bad guys. No. It means that they were using the same tactics. You can use them for good and you can use them for bad. Right. But what people don't understand is when they're using them for bad, the useful idiots also get taken out. They're one of the first to be executed. All the ones that push the agendas, all the ones that were standing up for this movement and that movement, gone.
The order followers.
They don't know that.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's see who wins, right?
Good luck, everybody.
Woo! Jazz hands. Jazz hands, don't clap. Yay, it's Gina! All right, Gina. She's not here tonight, but she's going to be excited to know that she's not only got a spot on the gold satellite, but she's won a silver eagle with the Montana, the bear, the grizzly bear, and the MS-70 perfect mint condition silver eagle.
Have you seen what gold has done in the last 2 days?
Over 1,400.
Is that over 1,500? It's over.
Are you serious? Let's look at that. Hold on. Hold your horses, Aunt Betsy. I don't know why Aunt Betsy would be the one to hold her horses, but she might have horses.
Over $1,500.
Oh my gosh! I didn't even see that. I always look at silver more than I ever look at
gold. Hit $1,500.
Ooh-wee. Ooh la la.
Is that all the money you got, Mama?
Oh, it's all the money I've earned ever my whole life.
The reason I know that is because I'm doing backyard gold panning in the form of pay dirt, where you buy dirt that has gold in it and you pan through it to get the gold out.
Yes.
I only have a couple of grams of gold, which is worth, I don't know, $46, but still,
Oh, my.
But yeah, it's...
Well...
And I have a few ounces of silver. And,
luckily for me...
But
I need to close out this gold, this half-ounce gold thing. I've only got 3 spots left, right? So this is, we're getting close.
Okay.
Luckily for me, I'm still going to be able to afford this. You got to put the price on these things knowing that the price can change, right? So you guys, I do raffles, and you could say, well, that's not what it's priced at today. And I could say, it could be tomorrow. Yeah. I don't know. So I have to adjust this in a way that, if it's more than that, hooray for Hollywood. But it might go to where I'm paying out to get to for this raffle, and I'm not getting anything. Right. Now, so far, not the case, but whew. You could get that way, so I gotta get those spots.
I told you earlier this year, I sent you that article. Gold and silver are gonna be going up.
Mm-hmm. And I knew it, and I bet it's gonna hit 21 by the end of the year. Yep. That won't shock me, but I'm still gonna buy. Yeah, that's probably a bad idea, Saoirse.
Sorry.
Okay, well, that means it's time to end the show when the kids start coming down. John, thanks again for coming on.
You're very welcome.
I know that Eric Dollard is so much information. Yes. I know he's got a lot to talk about. And I don't expect you to sit down and just focus on this, but if you come across something, for sure let me know.
I just remembered another person who talks about music and frequency and stuff like that. He was a dentist from Massachusetts. He lives in Hawaii right now. I forget his name, but he has a video out on YouTube where he does a presentation called DNA Pirates of the Sacred Spiral.
DNA, okay, so you're going to put that in the comments?
I'll put the link to it, and he makes a really good comment in that he talks about the sacred music scale and all that stuff.
Oh, send that that to my email too.
And in that he says that the way we know we're on the good side is that you can go into a room full of darkness, full of hate and all that. You can flick a little candle and all that darkness leaves, but you can't do the opposite. You can't go into a well-lit room full of love and peace and joy and happiness and bring darkness with you and have any effect at all.
What a great point.
That's how we know we're on the winning side.
Amen. Glory to God. Good one. All right. Yes. I know I had you on for a reason tonight. That was all. Just kidding. It was wonderful. And John is a wealth of information. And if you don't know that, just go back to the other videos I've done with him. They're live in the live area. You can go look at anything in the live area. And you can see I put there, if there's somebody that comes on live with me, their name's going to be on there. So thanks, John. We'll be, if he can come back next Thursday, he'll be back next Thursday because Thursday's good for him. Thursday's good for me. Yeah. So until then, guys, we appreciate you and we thank you. And we hope you have a wonderful weekend. My video should be up by Sunday. Don't think there'll be any problem having it up by Sunday. The script is done. It's ready to go. So I hope you guys will love that and look for it. It's going to be the Saturn Rising, the Black Cube, all that stuff. A lot of stuff we talked about tonight. It's all going to be put together for you in a nice little box with a bow on top. So, all right. Have a good weekend. God bless and good night.